Solamente puedo hablar poquito. Okay.
Good. That sounds good. Please go ahead.
No vamos a hacer. Okay. Okay, so my name, I'll get started. My name is Jeff Dury, the Senior Director with the group. Should I introduce everybody right now or just as you speak?
I mean,
Now?
you can introduce us, I guess.
Okay. I guess I don't know where the camera is. No, you know what? I know, but I'm just saying as far as, I tell you what, as people speak, they will introduce themselves. That's probably easier. That's better. Okay. And Brandy won't speak. She just helps keep it all straight in the back. So anyway, okay. Anyway, that's, my name is Jeff, I'm the Senior Director, almost 10 years with Choice Partners. And, we work closely with, Dr. Amesqua and then also kind of our counterpart. We'll have, Dr. Edna Johnson speak here in a few minutes also on some of the things that, that she wants to cover. So we got a lot of slides in a shorter amount of time, but questions, we don't want to talk at you. We want to talk with you. If you have questions, you know, ask them through the online, or if you're here in the room. The worst thing we can do is go and leave and you have a question. Oh, I should have asked that. That's what we're here for, to answer as much as we can, but we want to try and kind of get through the, also, it's almost 60 slides and just a shorter amount of time. So anyway, I've already messed up the introduction and all that good stuff, but we're going to talk about a little bit about who we are, who Choice Partners is in relation to HCBE. Like you've probably spent a lot of time with them, some new developments, our rebate program, and then we'll talk a little bit about legal and contracts, food and cafeteria, just kind of touch on them. Then Janet will talk about navigating the website, how you find things, how you find pricing, due diligence, things like that, vendors. Stephen will talk about job order contracting. We don't have Edna on the agenda, but Dr. Johnson, she will speak here either before or after Janet on the navigation and then Q&A. All right. So this is our group. There's 19 of us, 19 full-time employees, and you see right at the very front, that's like kind of our little leadership group, if you will, myself, and then on my right is Jane Lopez. She handles everything on the commodity side. Trisha Prestigiacomo, she handles all of our food stuff, and then Stephen is a lot of the facilities, construction, things like that. So we kind of break it down into kind of three groups, if you will, as far as assistant directors and responsibilities and things like that. And then we've got contract managers, billing, and a lot of other folks doing the real work in the background, and that's our team. So we always talk about win-win-win, you know, as far as how a purchasing cooperative is structured. We sign an interlocal agreement, if you look on the far left there, with a CP member, such as the Tejano Center, Lo, Isaguirre, school, things like that, you know, HISD, KDIC, that's the member. The interlocal agreement is the government-to-government agreement allowing you guys to use our contracts to piggyback. We do exactly what you do. We write the RFP, we send a solicitation out on the street, we evaluate, and then we award. And we multi-award, and we give a lot of the vendors the opportunity to use our contract to sell to our members we're literally across the country. We've got Florida, we've got Oregon, Boston Public Schools, Atlanta Public Schools in Atlanta, Georgia, you know, Arizona, Phoenix, Tucson. We've got a lot of members using our contracts in and around the country also. We are based, you know, where we are. We're based here in town in Houston. So that's a little bit, the awarded contract is what is actually the RFP itself that's executed. We award it, but it's executed between us and the vendor. The vendor submit their information to us through the IronWave system, eBid, electronic bidding, and we go through the evaluation process and do background and check references and things like that, and they have to score a certain amount to be considered for an award. They're not guaranteed an award by responding. They're not even guaranteed an award by being at or above the 70% threshold. That's where they're considered. There are times when they're above 70% and we don't award, just based on certain criteria. But so we go through a very thorough vetting process. And then at the bottom, you see, we allow the vendor and the member, you guys and the vendor, work directly with the vendor. There are co-ops out there where you've got to send your PO to the co-op. They've got to look at it. They've got to bless it. They've got to do whatever. We don't do that. We allow you to operate just normally. Send your PO in, put the contract number that you're referencing, the Choice Partners contract number, on the PO and or the quote, and go from there. So this is a little bit about HCDE, who we are. You know who we are. Obviously, you know Dr. Mesqua. You dealt with him a lot more. Just meeting us right now, but it's we're not the county. We're Harris County Department of Ed. It's actually a taxing authority here in the Houston area, the Harris County area, and it's been around since the 1880s. So it's been around for quite a while. And we're just one of the divisions within the HCDE family. And if you see, this is kind of like a little structure, kind of a little tree, if you will. We call them the five pillars, the larger divisions we have: the adult ed, the case for kids, Head Start, special schools, therapy services. Some of the larger divisions within HCDE. And if you see the circle at the bottom with the little CP logo, that's us. We're one of the divisions within the Harris County Department of Education, and we basically are what they call an enterprise division. We quote unquote make money by charging the fees to the vendors. We don't charge anything to a member to use the contract. They pay us a small fee, and we pay for our cost of operation, employee costs, all that kind of stuff. And then we give some money back to HCDE that Dr. Mesqua and our superintendent and others in the executive leadership team, you know, where to use it to support other divisions, some of these pillar divisions, and I don't know where it goes. It just goes. He says, here's what your cost is, here's your budget, and here's what we expect you to give us back this year, and we go to work. So that's kind of how we operate and how we fit into the whole big HCDE structure. Our paychecks say Harris County Department of Education. We're all in teacher retirement system. We're all government employees, just like you guys. We use our own contracts. We write our own contracts, and we're very strict as far as kind of the due diligence and making sure the contracts are good and vetted and legal and compliant for use not only in our facilities but for the members that use our contract also. Most everybody in here in purchasing type area or business or facilities, or what is everybody doing here? I was just curious. I should ask that very first question. I don't have to have a head count, but I don't know what everybody.
Business office here.
Okay, a lot of business office.
Maintenance, child nutrition.
Okay.
Facilities over there.
Okay. So
Instruction design.
Okay. And we have a lot of contracts, and we'll talk about it later. Curriculum and everything, not only office furniture, office supplies, maintenance, MRO type things, but also things that can be used in the classroom, also software programs, things like that. So, okay, these are just a couple of the, we call them upcoming events that we have. We'll be in El Paso in a couple of weeks in April. A couple of weeks later, we'll be down in Pima. We probably don't want to invite you to go to El Paso because that's a long way away, but if you look at things or you're interested in disaster planning, like hurricanes, we're all here in Houston, things like that. We're having this workshop down in Landry's, at a Landry's restaurant down there in Pima on April 18th, which they talk a whole lot about how you plan for disasters, how you work with FEMA, how you work with the OIG, TDM, Texas Department of Energy Management. Very, very good workshop and informative for people, especially right here in Houston, Gulf Coast, you know, down Galveston, Corpus along the coast, things like that. So a couple of things we have going on, and we're always at trade shows. We probably go to 70 or 80 trade shows a year. We're we're always promoting choice partners and talking to members and adding vendors, deleting vendors, things like that. Choice cash rebate. We just started a rebate program. Our fiscal year starts September 1 and it ends August 31. And we just finished the first fiscal year, August 31, and we gave back a little under $1 million in rebates back to members for using our contract. We don't take any money from the vendors. We basically kind of take it out of our admin fee, and it's something where we've had a lot of members that joined us because they're like, oh, we'll take free money and it doesn't cost us anything. Still get the same pricing that you've always got. You still have access to all the different vendors that we have and use. And it's just a nice way of us kind of saying thanks for the business, and we hope you keep using this. We have a number of different ways. This is some information for the past rebate program. We just mailed all the checks. It's our first year in existence with the rebate, and there were a lot of learning things this year. We had over 20,000 purchase orders that were reported in the portal, and that's excluding some of our what we call self-reporting vendors. All of our Amazon business, we've probably got many hundreds of members using Amazon through our contract. They're self-reporting, so they didn't even have to go into the portal. A lot of our food contracts, our large grocery bids, such as Gordon Food Service and Labatt, some of just the huge Gordon Dairy or Highland Dairy, those kind of guys are all self-reporting. So it's pretty robust program. I didn't know the number until I just saw it down here below, but we gave rebates to over 400 members across a number of states this past year. It's a very active program, and we hope to continue to grow it and expand it, and hope you guys spend a lot of money and get a big check. Okay. This is just a little more of how the program works. You basically there's nothing that you have to do up front, but we ask that you regularly report your purchase orders through our portal, and that might be these business office folks over here that do all that fun stuff. But so anyway, we have a way to do that, and the easiest way is to create your username and log in. I think Janet will probably cover some of that in a minute, and that will allow you to basically just upload spreadsheets with various fields filled out related to the purchase order. All right. And the second bullet is saying we do encourage you guys to use the portal to report. And the third thing is, one of the questions is is there a maximum that we can earn, either where per vendor or per member per entity? No, there's no maximum. We haven't done anything to cut off a maximum. We do have a minimum, and the minimum based on the percentages we pay out, it's about a minimum usage of $40,000 or so in a calendar year across all vendors to kind of get over the threshold of, I think it's $100 or a couple $100 before our business services says, it's kind of worth the paperwork to print out the rebate check. We don't want to print out, $2.50 rebate check. So anyway, moving on with some of our group. This is our group of contract managers. I don't need to read the names, but these are the folks and the various contracts that they write, that they manage, the vendors they work with, kind of an area of expertise. We're trying to kind of cross-train some of them here and there just to make them a little more flexible on various contracts. But Michael, Ashley, Monique, Steve, and Tammy are all of our contract managers, and they do a good job. They've kind of been broken down into the specialties written there as far as job order contracts, such as maintenance or construction type things, food, nutrition, technology, the commodities, and then the trade and or job contracts. And if you can remember when we talked about kind of the grouping with Stephen and with Jane and Tricia, they were all kind of over certain different areas, and they kind of line up with a lot of the contract managers as far as sectors that they handle and duties that they have, duties and responsibilities. Legal, this is the fun stuff. Really, we say when we do our contracts, there's really, I always like to kind of hold two fingers in the air. We're legal and competitive, because that's really kind of the two main criteria, qualifiers, or whatever of our contract, and an RFP in general that gives people the confidence to use our contracts. And so I'll cover just a little bit on the legal side and what we look into. You've probably seen some of these names, or any of you folks who are on the purchasing side, you've heard of these or seen them. Edgar is kind of what everyone outside of the K-12 area calls uniform guidance. The federal guidelines call it 2 CFR 200 down at the bottom. Every one of our contracts are Edgar compliant. That means that they're compliant and legal for use with federal funds, based on whatever criteria you may have. And I say that disclaimer because some of the food has different criteria, whether you're dealing with USDA and or TDA, 1295, 24 CFR, and then some of the 2269 is the construction side. And so, I mean, these are just a lot of things you've probably seen or heard in your purchasing or procurement. People go, oh, you work under 44031 or whatever. That's the education code. It's just some of the things that we have to think about when we write all of our contracts, make you guys legal and compliant, and make it easy for you to use our contracts without any type of hesitation or thought or issue along those lines. Due diligence. I'm stealing a little bit of Janet's thunder, but this is kind of what it looks like when you go to our website. Hey, Janet, I know I'm kind of getting in your area a little bit, but when you go to our website, you can go in and you can find certain things without having a username and password established. You can go in and you can find a vendor name. You can go in and see when a contract started or when it ends, or even a contract manager. When you use your log on and password, it allows you to see a few other different things also. And it's like if you go through audits and people ask questions, where's your due diligence? Where's your 1295? Where's your this and that? How did they evaluate? I want to check the pricing on my own. I don't want to have to call anybody. I want to see that the pricing they gave me is the same pricing that's on the Choice Partners contract. You can find a lot of that in this due diligence file, due diligence area. Once you put a log on and password, to allow you to get kind of behind the curtain, behind the protected part of the website. And some of the main things is that you've got the due diligence button, which is where the red arrow is over here. It says download, and that will download all the various due diligence files that we have. The next slide will talk a little bit about those also. So when you look at due diligence, people talk about some of these IEDs, independent estimate determination, cost price analysis. We call these things like before and after forms.
We just want to let you know that we also have someone on staff, contract compliance specialist.
Yes.
So if you request a quote from any of our vendors and you question if it's in line with the contract, although we have very high integrity vendors, but you could question, does this fall in line? We have a person on staff that you can actually submit to them. Actually, probably we should submit it to Stephen or whoever, and then he'll get it to Mary Crosby, and she'll review the quote that you received to be sure that it is in line with the contract pricing. We do have the due diligence available, but we wanted you to know that that's how much we stand behind our contracts and our assistance for the members.
I have a question, maybe this is
That's
for
the
you,
next slide.
Bill. Are we going to solely be using, like, making choices through Choice Partners, or it's an and an or? But that, maybe I haven't discussed that yet, just curious.
We belong to multiple
Right.
purchasing cooperative. So I guess it depends. Choice Partner is growing, so they're having more and more vendors now. We also have tips. We also have what's it? Yeah, we have multiple.
Have access to this type of information discussion with other vendors as well?
Yes.
Okay, with other co-ops.
I asked because a lot of our consultants, for example, we asked them to join a co-op, right, through Harris County or others, and so all of our consultants need to be through a co-op, correct? Okay, I just want to make sure.
And we do the same. We're trying to do the same with everything that we.
Edna will
Okay,
cover
maybe
some of that.
derail you. I
No,
just
no,
wanted to
she'll
know,
cover some of that stuff
because I
also.
believe it.
Oh, no,
I
that's,
was not thinking.
okay, no, that's good,
Thank you.
good questions. You guys are totally fine with that. But these are some of the files, getting back, some of the files that you will find in the due diligence zip file, as far as the documents, things that maybe an auditor might ask you for, things that you might, some people do it as a best practice. They automatically put these files in when they use a co-op. Anyway, we have that, and we feel that we're as compliant, probably the most compliant. We kind of like to say we're not the biggest co-op out there, but a lot of times people come to us because of our compliance and ask us to write contracts for them. There've been a couple of little companies you guys might have heard of. One's called Amazon, another one's called Apple. They come to us because the DIR doesn't want to sign federal forms. They don't want to be compliant, so they come to us, and we've had that contract for a little over a year, and we've probably got 400 entities across the state using it. Amazon is becoming our second or third largest contract, literally in a year and a half, because they've had other co-op contracts on there also, but they had issues with these guys actually writing the contracts right and making it compliant for use with federal funds and following all the rules and regulations, and specifically all the rules and regulations that we have here in Texas. And so we've got a tremendous track record as far as compliance. And the big guy named Messley, you guys see all the time. He's a pain in our butt, but he keeps us in line. He's very good. All right. So this is what Janet was just talking about. When you have issues as far as compliance, whether it's on a construction contract, whether they put in the correct coefficient, or whether they did things right or whatever, or if the pricing is correct, or they charge for shipping and they shouldn't, whatever, we've got a group, and really kind of the main person that we talk to is this first lady listed right here, Mary Causey, and then all the other folks on here are the various contract managers, depending on what sector or what area you're in, and they also have the ability to go through and do that. But Mary's always been, for a number of years, has been our first line of contact, looking at the compliance side. So we have people dedicated to helping you guys out. If you have questions, if you just want to know if this is right, or if you should be using it, or if you're gonna get in trouble if you use this guy's contract in this manner, or is what you're asking for contained in this contract. We do a lot of that, and we do it on a very, very regular basis, all day, every day. So anyway, just keep Mary's name and phone number. Probably hate me after this, but yeah, she's very good at what she does, and she does a lot of the compliance work. I thought she would look at all the other ones also. Okay, well, I stand corrected. Basically, Mary, let's go back here for 2 seconds. Mary is going to do mainly a lot of the construction, facilities, maintenance type contracts, and all the other contract managers will do the ones that will fall under their market sector, whether it's commodities, whether it's technology, whether it's computers, whether it's office supplies, FF&E, fixtures, furniture, equipment, things like that.
They have that on the printout that we gave you, it's in the slide.
And contracts, this is a kind of a representation. It's hard to kind of in a short time frame go over the various contracts that we have, but this is kind of the grouping that we've talked about already: food and cafeteria, technology, the computers, the software as a service, The stapler represents commodities, all, all the office supplies, things like that. We have a number of office supply, vendors that have been with us for a long time. A lot of people are buying a lot of office supplies through the Amazon contract, services, facilities, pretty much anything you need, let us know. We're always asking people, what do you need? What would we, be able to help out with? And we always take that information into account, and we want to try and help our members out also. One thing that we hear, and it's not from you guys, but we get a contractor or somebody that's got curriculum software or something, and they were just at, I'm picking a name, KDISD. I was out there last week, and he said, man, they really like what we have. I said, just go get on a co-op, and we'll buy some from you. I got to get this PO by next Monday. And I'm like, well, hold on just a second. If we had a contract on the street today, as you guys know, in the business or purchasing side, it's 3 or 4 months before we get it done and it goes to the board or whatever. That's the good news. The bad news is we did that contract last month or the month before, or 2 months ago. It may not come up for a year. It may not come up for 2 years. Some of these contracts are 3, 4, 5 years. So, and we've got the contract managers pretty loaded down as far as their bandwidth. They're constantly doing new contracts. They're renewing contracts. We have annual renewals of all the different contracts. So just please understand that we want to work with people, and sometimes it works out tremendously and it works out great. Sometimes timing's terrible. Yes, ma'am.
I asked all the questions, but this is.
No, go
also for
ahead.
them.
Yeah,
Just a side note, did you guys track everybody that we have in a co-op? Or did you expect us to remember everything in terms of all like our vendors on your site?
No, we're gonna usually look up if they're
Okay.
co-op or not.
Just want to make sure there's a tracking sheet. Thank you.
Yes. And the other thing that anyone, regardless of what department you're in, and that's a good question and brings up another
Yeah.
point. When you use your username and login, you automatically get updates on our contract list, and our contract list is it's a PDF, the 4-page printout. It's updated every month after the board meetings, and it contains everything that everybody has added, and everybody that's deleted. It doesn't just come out to anybody that says, oh, I like choice. Once you get on our radar and you go through become a member that Janet will talk about and create your login and password, you automatically receive this every month in a PDF format and also in a spreadsheet format. And the spreadsheet, as anyone in here that uses spreadsheets a lot, you can do a lot of search functions, you can do a lot of sort functions, and people love the spreadsheet side. They're like, oh, I'm looking forward, say, this is a contract that's whatever, we're in 24 now. That was a 2022 contract. We still have 2 years left on it or whatever. There's a whole lot of data that you can find on that spreadsheet for people that like that kind of stuff. Or on the PDF also, they're listed alphabetically by contract name. And you can search that way also to see, if somebody knows on there or who is on there. And I know Janet will talk to you a little more about some of the get a quote functions, which is a kind of ties into a lot of that stuff also. But anyway, that's a good question, and just brought up some of the other things by going in with the login and password too. Yes.
So when you say creating your account, is it gonna be individual account or is it like the Tejano Center account?
No, there's like, okay, so let's say like, I always use it because they're the big elephant in the room, HISD. HISD has an account. Yeah, I'm an HISD. I went to Scarborough High School, right? But I'm a native Etonian. Yes.
We have a.
Do you have Raul Isaguirre or?
It'll be,
It's not
it'll
Tejano
depend
Center.
on how you register.
I mean,
The
I have
Tejano
a.
Center is not a member at this time. Raul
Raul Isaguirre
is,
School.
and that's what I was telling Jeff before we got here.
Yes.
So if you're purchasing and looking, I'm so sorry.
No, go ahead.
If
That's
you're
what we're here for.
purchasing or looking for something for the Tejano Center, we would ask that you.
See, we're not Tejano Center, we're Rice, all of you, most of the people in here.
But
But
when
when
I, Tejano there.
Maybe him.
Yeah, but when I place an order, like supplies, it's always under the Tejano Center name.
It should be on the right.
No, it's on the Rice.
It must be because we don't have you as a member yet. We don't have the Tejano Center as a member yet. It would have to be under whoever is a member we can accept. POs from non-members.
So we're supposed to look if they're, if, part of the co-op, to her point, before we submit anything to finance. Is that what you're asking us to do, or does finance do that?
No, when you have a request, normally Marisol check if they're in the co-op or not. And if they are not, we let you know that then we need to do any other kind of procurement process. Either the 3 quotes, approval by the board, et cetera, yeah.
No way, we can have an approved list of who vendors
This
are.
is what I was, yes, ma'am. I didn't mean to cut you off, excuse me. What Jeff was saying, and I will show you that when we go to the website, every month after our board approves, the ones that are retired are taken off, the ones that are
Expired.
and it's posted as an Excel format. Many of what we have for school districts and others will come and take that Excel sheet, upload it into your own purchasing system under approved vendors. So that way, if you have a list of approved vendors for the Tejano Center or our RYS.
So then I guess my question,
Then
how does
you
that
would
trickle
know
down?
right away.
How does that trickle down to the campuses and that maybe to answer later, like you guys know, but we don't. I guess it's my question.
Good for us to learn too.
Forgot,
Cause
Well-
I'm from the school and I don't have access to it.
Yeah.
How would I
Maybe we
get out?
Some of
They
the
create
school
accounts.
districts.
Yeah, we don't.
Yeah, but that's why I was asking the
Yeah.
question, do I actually need to, or does she need to know, have access, or is it something that we
Well,
push
that
to?
will save time. So we
Okay.
can give you the
Your
information.
process is your process,
Yeah.
we do it, yeah, but then we all need
And
access.
just before you put a request, check if they're in the co-op or not. That's gonna save time for us to review and send it back to you. Hey, they're not in the co-op.
So could we kind of assuming, like, if we have a list, we know, period, we go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
And that list is available to you once you get a login ID.
Right. And as well, it's going like HISD, let's say they've got 200 users. And they're everywhere. They've only got like 50 people in purchasing. They've got people at campus level, they've got facilities maintenance, they've got people that are in technology, curriculum. Yeah.
It's an Angie question, or maybe Denise. Last year, I know Mr. Sobrano, when we were doing some transitions with CFOs, I know Angie, I think it was Angie, did a lot of our contract work with our, because we're a school, I'm a principal.
Okay.
And I know Diana's a principal here also. This is our team because we all have different things we need to order. So that would help us. But I know last year, Angie was our CAO and got some contracts in through the summer for our consultants. So what my question is, were those consultants that were approved through the summer in a co-op?
Yeah, so what we have them do, Ben, Cecilia, Untapped, all of our, we push them to Harris County, so Jesus got us. There was an RFP that opened up,
So they're already in.
well, we just need to,
They applied.
they got approved, right, through, but we just need to confirm what their number.
And that would go back to because, as we go into next year, so that we know who is already approved, that we can continue to use. I know they got them in this summer, but I just am saying as we're going forward into our new budget, it would help us for whatever we're ordering. And then, this is in-house, and I'm sorry, just to clarify, because
We're here for you. We're not,
That's what it's
and
for.
just
we
FYI,
live and breathe this stuff. We want to
Well,
talk to
and
you about it.
hopefully it
Denise, if you get that through,
So what happened with the
well,
contract?
not those. The other ones like, the stem scopes and,
That all comes through the district.
right, so the stem scopes will continue to go.
If we choose all content.
IXL, all that.
Not IXL's our campus, so the district is, well, collectively, not a Denise or the district, right? So iReady is the chosen program, everybody agrees to it. I mean, IXL will now, because of the grant.
So I'm saying
Yes.
IXL, iReady and stem scopes that we use are already on,
STEM scopes, map, all,
and
because,
the district will.
right,
push
because a
those
lot
through.
of those come out of EMAT funds through
And they're
TA.
vetted by TES. So I'm saying, but those will continue to the district
Yes.
getting, so I'm saying, so that way the schools know what we have to put in and what you all put in.
Right.
So we're not.
Yeah, and we can
Yeah,
put like a
that's
list of what we're
STEM
doing.
Yeah, but that's coordinated through the
Correct.
academically. They tell us what we need to purchase for
The district.
overall or a specific campus.
Yeah, and we'll do that. And then to your point about some of the contracts like Houston A Plus, the only reason why I did it is because You had one, you had one. The board doesn't care about yours. They care about collectively the total dollars over 50,000. So it was all put on one. That was the only reason. So
Right.
it's not, yeah.
Right. So I'm just saying the same thing for, as we move forward, like I paid for IXL last year.
This year we'll pay because of the grant.
Of the grants. Okay,
Correct.
so that's good. I'm just trying to
But we're gonna tell you
clarify.
everything that, yeah. we'll
And
tell
if
you.
we had that in it, then we know who's, so that we're not doing the same work.
Correct, yeah. We'll just make a comprehensive list for you.
So anything that's district-wide, we handle. If you're purchasing something on your own, I don't know, brain pop or whatever, then that's the campus. It doesn't come through us.
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely, yeah.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? No? Nobody can hear me?
You don't need to,
You administrators do that.
Can somebody hear me?
you don't really need to pay attention to those other co-ops.
Other lot of choice.
No, we're a tool. We hope that you turn to us first, but you have businesses, you have schools, you have get your business done in a more timely and efficient manner.
Real quick, if these are our computers, if we would buy computers, the brother,
We were using a different vendor last year.
DFW,
CDW.
CDW is on the top.
They're a big vendor of ours on the
So
co-op.
they're already
You can
on
buy-
it,
Yes.
yeah. And then like for the grant, the computers for the grant,
because we have
Those will
some
run through
grants,
us
Angie,
for you.
right?
Yeah, that was with that grant.
we have another 100,000, that's why.
Yeah, it's like the CTE
There's a
grant that
waiting.
we have.
Yeah.
They have a lot of CTE contracts, things like that also. Oh, I know.
CTE,
They're like a computer warehouse,
Yeah.
all the
But that's. who we were
peripherals,
using.
you name it.
That's who we-
CDW is a vendor that we use, yes.
and we
Are
use-
there other vendors? Because I'm not paid for them.
Yes.
Like when
We'll go-
kids
Janet
waiting
will
for
go
a
through it.
year to
Oh,
receive
you have it.
something and
You
they
have it
haven't
in there.
received it, it bothers me. Like I'm waiting for smart board. Since last semester.
You know, and when you look for technology, it'll give you the boost of everybody that's technology software up here and products. So
Okay.
that's a good way.
I
to
work
go.
on grants, so we do a lot of things.
Great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
that-
use
that's what-
CDW.
You'll have it look
Is that
exactly
who
like
use
that,
CDW?
CDW.
It was CDW.
And when Janet gets on the website, she'll cover a lot of that.
Another company que Álvaro Borel está something.
Are they in it too?
Yes.
That's
CDW is in
Yes, they're one of our largest vendors. They do a ton with HISD, we know them well. NETSYNC, NETSYNC, NETSYNC.
Let's see donde.
Okay, I'm gonna keep moving on. Is that all right?
Yes.
'Cause I know, and again, what I'm saying is not as important as what Janet might be saying, or Stephen, or Edna. So anyway, we'll try and cover as much as we can in a time frame. And I love the questions, I love the conversations. But like my wife said, I don't need anybody to talk to, I'll just keep talking. Okay, so this is our food nutrition team. Tricia with the white shirt standing up is the assistant director. Ashley's the contract manager sitting, Monica, and then Rosie Contreras. That's kind of the team that does all the admin. They do all the work on the food side. These are some of our food contracts. And if you have this little 4-page PDF, this is what you get to log on and password. You'll have this. You can access this and you can pull it right off the website on a monthly basis. But on the back page, on page 4, all the food contracts listed. Okay, all the other 3 pages are all the other contracts listed in alphabetical order. This is the PDF version of what we can also send to you in Excel. Okay,
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
It's Estelle, has some questions. She's online.
Oh,
She's
okay.
at our Brownsville campus.
you should be able to talk
She's
into it,
trying
right?
to talk, she says she's muted. So
Oh, wait, how do we do this, Stephen?
We were talking earlier, she can't unmute.
she says.
I'm unmuted. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. Well, I don't know if this is a time, it was before. My question was that I do have some vendors in Brownsville that try to get onto a co-op, because they were not on a co-op. And they filled out all the paperwork, but then once they got there, they had to wait for a bid opportunity, and there never was a bid opportunity. So
That's
they're still
exact-
hanging on there. So my question is, these are vendors that we really need out here because of Brownsville, it's a different, how can we get them into a co-op if there's never gonna be a bid opportunity for them?
Well, that's exactly what I was talking about earlier, is that we have about, 500 or 600 contracts right now. We have a limited number of contract managers, and we're always writing new contracts. I don't want to say that we're not, but we have there's kind of a system. There's a two-step process. Number one is what they've done is registered as a vendor. All they did was they got in the database, they got in our repository, and they did about a 10-minute worth of putting in their company information, contact information, email, phone number, EIN, check the various commodities, the goods or services that they provide. And then when we write a contract and the contract manager it says it's going to cover these goods and commodity goods and services, blah, 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 through the eBid system, it automatically spits out a notification to the various vendor based on what they chose. Chances are, whatever they might have chosen, it may have been, just like I was saying earlier in the presentation, it may have been something we did 2 months ago, may have been something we did a year ago, and it still may be a year before it comes up again. Now we're always looking for things to try and get contracts going, but I think probably on average, every single contract that we have, probably a number, last time I calculated, it was about $500,000 a year. And if it's something that's like, oh, I need to spend $10,000 with these guys next year, that's something that may not make it to the front of our bucket as far as being a contract that can be used, widespread or whatever. And so we try and accommodate every single thing that we can, but on the other hand, we've got a certain bandwidth. We've got 19 employees, and if this is the conversation we have, I bet we have it 5 days a week. Somebody in our office has it every day of the week.
So I think what a missed opportunity, Ms. Nocell, is there was an RFP in August, September that Jesus, because we were like our vendors need to be in it. So they opened something, don't know,
Yeah.
because we shared it with the bunch, but it did not get communicated to Brownsville.
Mm-hmm.
So I think also, when is the next one for her people when is another RFP?
Well, they're all done by subject. They're all done by product.
Yes, what is the need?
Instructional, consultants, programs, materials, all of our stuff that we're asking about is instructional. Or
Facilities, no, facilities. For me, it's facilities.
Okay, for facilities for her.
Okay, so on the instructional side, there are 3 RFPs on the street right now.
What about
Today.
facilities?
On facilities, there are contracts on the street, including a trade job contract for single trades like mechanical, electrical, plumbing. Now for
Roofing.
consultants, most of the education consultants, that goes through HCDE plus. And I don't know when their next contract is on.
Tomorrow, it opens tomorrow.
Okay, so we need to
Yes.
confirm,
Eddie's
or
got the
Ms.
right answer.
Nocell needs to make sure she knows with facilities, we need to make sure all of our consultants were accepted.
I sent Justin about some consultants for instruction that they were trying to get into. They filled the application and everything with choice partners.
Yeah.
They don't understand the process, and that happened with more than one vendor in the past, and something that we can discuss
Well,
is that people don't know, we talked about it
as
yesterday.
consultant,
People don't know
would
how
respond to,
they think that when they apply, they're done. So they tell you, oh, we are in the call. And
can't
they
tell
don't
you,
understand the process of being awarded.
Randy, how many
and,
calls
the-
you get like that a day?
So we probably gonna need to somehow start training our vendors to educate our vendors to, because we have very small businesses that want to participate, but they don't know how.
So
They don't have the resources either.
Sure.
Can I ask something? And it might be really, really dumb. I probably am one of those who doesn't understand. But let's say this facility vendor that I have who is based in Brownsville, would the bid that he is going to apply for be based in Brownsville, or is he going to be expected to go work in Harris County or in Austin or that's just a question.
He makes that selection. There are checks when he responds to the RFP, not just filling out the generic information, not just the 10 minutes worth of generic information to register. When he responds to the RFP, they say, what's your prime area? Some people say region 4 and 5 and 6, which is Houston, Beaumont and Conroe or whatever. Brownsville down there would be region 1. You can say, I'm just going to work in region 1, or maybe I'll go up to Corpus and work a little bit in region 2, whatever. He can say region 1 only. That's part of his response to the RFP. He doesn't have to determine that at the
Okay.
registration point.
And Mr. Kendrick, one more question. Do they get notified about these or do they have to go in and find it?
Once they're registered in our system.
Or I'm
They-
sorry, I said Mr. Kendrick because that's the name that's on the screen. I'm sorry.
You're fine.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good.
So once they register in our system, okay, anytime a bid comes out that falls under a commodity that they chose during registration, they will receive an email.
Okay,
Now,
got it.
if they think it's junk and they don't recognize who it's coming from, or if for whatever reason their system throws it into their junk folder, that's the only way they get notified. So they could miss it if they're not looking for it. But
Perfect.
once they're registered, they have to select their correct commodities, and if they're unsure, they can call us and we can help them with that. Because that's the only way the system knows who to notify and who not to notify.
Perfect.
Piggybacking on that, if I can, there are vendors that when they do going.
Raising my hand and nobody's looking
I'm
for a
the-
lady.
Go ahead, Andy.
Let the lady go
Go
first.
for it.
Sorry.
So there is and I apologize because we've been through several changes and we're all over the place. And unfortunately, there's information that doesn't trickle down to the people that do the job. Right now, in federal state compliance, grants, and there's a lot of walls. And every time I move, there's another wall because we either don't know the process or it hasn't been communicated. So there's obviously a disconnect between what you guys want, and the people that actually do the work. We can't and we have a million other things to do. We don't just do accounting. Right. So I'm not always looking to see when something pops up and see, it doesn't get to me, it doesn't get to schools. So that we know, no, so food for thought, so we don't leave a problem unsolved, because that drives me crazy. It's like, who will ensure it trickles down to the school, maybe to Angie, maybe to Denise, because we do a lot of contracts and services, and now I'm under federal and state compliance. Sounds like there's a lot of, and I want to be able to support schools, but if I don't have the information, I don't sleep.
We have a couple of answers for that. The first one is that on our website, we list upcoming contracts. So you can go in there at any time and see what's coming. The second thing is we have a leader.
So that doesn't work for me because I don't see it here. I'm running to schools.
I understand that.
So is there an email? Is there some sort of
Well,
communication?
That was the next part.
Let's say maybe on Wednesdays it comes out. So on Wednesdays I'm looking,
Yeah, so the only other thing we have is what we call our Leaders Voice newsletter. I don't know if you're registered to receive it.
We don't know anything about that.
But it comes out and it shows you everything going on with the co-op for that month, including the contracts that are coming
So
up.
where do we register?
That's where I'm gonna show you.
Yeah.
You get a login ID and
Oh,
it'll
I
get
love
you
it.
access.
Y'all want me to zoom through my part so you can get to somebody? Okay.
Okay.
And I was gonna say, ma'am, down in Brownsville, we also have a lady that has started working for us as a field rep who is a native of the area. She's got, one of her sisters is one of the school superintendents down there. She's worked for La Jolla ISD in purchasing and executive director for 20, 30 years. Sylvia.
Can I have her name?
Sylvia Zapata. And you can just send an email to Sylvia, SYLVIA @choicepartners.org and say, Sylvia, help. I want to ask you questions. And she's lives and breathes there. She's from South Texas. We're thrilled. We're thrilled to have her. She's a very good friend of Dr. Amesco's also. And so she's new to our team. She would be a line of first defense, if you will, in South Texas to work with us. And she understands procurement. She understands. She's very, very smart. She's
So I can actually give this to one of my partners, right? And they can actually email them themselves. Okay, got it. Thank you.
And I tell you what, I'm gonna just, there's nothing else on here that's earth shattering. There's a food member login, food member dashboard, upcoming we're going here. I'm gonna let you talk. I'm gonna finish. I'm Jeff, and not Mr. Kendrick, no. I'm Jeff Drury, and, I'm gonna let Janet talk because I really think this is pertinent. A lot of your questions were right at navigating the website. Okay, thank you.
I thought you said there was something
Yeah,
else.
we're not, you're not, you don't want to go through the slides. You want to do it?
No, I don't. So you have the slide presentation in front of you. You can follow along afterwards, but what I'm gonna do is go to the website itself. So you can actually see what it's gonna look like when you do it.
Okay, so hold on, I gotta reshare the screen, okay? It stopped screen sharing when we got out of the PowerPoint. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how it. Can y'all see the screen?
No.
Not yet.
What are y'all able to see? Can y'all see our website or do y'all see us?
I see you.
Okay,
I think you just unshare, so you have to share again.
yeah, I'm trying to get there. Let's see, share screen. All right, now y'all can see it?
Yes.
All right. All right, there you go, Jen.
All righty. So I'm gonna have to run through this quicker than usual, so buckle up and hang on, but it's important information. I don't want to be rude. If you do have a question, raise your hand, but it's better for you to see it here than just on the paper because it'll imprint better in your brain. So as a member, I'm gonna take it this way. The school is a member, y'all are not. So when you become a member, we'll speak positively. We would think that you would want to join for all the benefits that we have. There are things that you would need to do.
Well, just to clarify something, the Tejano Center is the parent organization of Rice Schools. It's the same federal ID number.
But we don't have you registered in
As
our
a-
membership, so let's talk
As a,
about that.
as a
afterwards.
name, but it's Raul Izaguirre School of Success is doing business as, because the organization, the
We'll check that.
EIN number is Tejano Center.
But we don't,
On the W9.
that's what I was gonna say.
Correct.
We can get to that. So if you are, then everybody is welcome to do this. So the very first thing, instead of going to become a member, we're gonna run down here. Do you see where it says member login? You can either use this button up here or this button here. And when you go there, if you do not have a login ID, which it sounds like 90% in here do not, come here to this button right here that says set up a new account. And when it populates, the only name we're gonna have in there is this one. That's the only, see, we do not have, so you gotta get that to all your other campuses, if that's the case. So when you pick that, you have to pick what the drop down shows. You can't type it all in yourself. Then once you get it, because that means you're approved and a member, then you can fill out everything else that's in here, including your own logon, username and password ID, okay? When you hit submit, then you wait for our system. A system will say, thank you, did this, but you can't use it yet because we got to go check and make sure there's not another one like it. Get it attached to your entity, and then you'll get a second email that says, howdy, you're fine, go ahead and go shopping, okay?
What's the URL of the address?
Just www.choicepartners.org.
Yes.
Should be
And
on a
how
lot
long
of.
it takes for the approval?
Ma'am?
How long it takes for you to?
We try and do it the same day. Sometimes if it's like, if you do it Friday afternoon, it could be Monday morning, but we do have some people that are able to do it over the weekend. But it's usually sometime within 24 hours. If not, then you have a contact list that you can go and say, I've tried this, or you can email us and then we can help you.
I just like open an account like 3 weeks ago and it's still not working.
We'll look.
See right here where it says about us? Go down here where it says contact us. All right. And here's an 800 number right here. You can email that 800 number. It's Shane Lopez. If you click on the name, it's an email, or you use that phone number, and that would help. I would say do an email first. You can CC me. My name's on here too. But all of it, it's our first name at choicepartners.org. Please use .org, not .com. You'll find some surprises. Not wonderful, but you'll find some surprises. Okay, so thank you. So I'm gonna go back to login. And well, Stephen, you rascal, you're already there. So Stevens is in. Let's see if it'll give me the member dashboard.
We have the present at the top of the page.
No, that's not my login, Janet.
Oh, okay, good, because I was gonna say,
Yeah,
the user doesn't exist. I thought, what in the world pre-populated?
No, that's not mine. It's mine is my email.
Okay. So where you come, once you get approved, just populate it in the user name and password and hit login. And when you do, you'll come to the member dashboard, and this is the best place to get all of the member benefits that we have on our website. So I want to show you here what we have is that contact list that was in the handout that you have, and you can get it as a PDF, or here is where you get the Excel. So if you just made it simpler to your point where you said you didn't always have time to look at this, or you were waiting for an email, if you just send a reminder in your calendar that says once a month at probably the last Monday of the month, this will be freshened because our board meeting is generally the Wednesday of the third week of the month. So that gives us time to update it. You could go there and say, I'll grab this, put this list on our approved vendor list, and that'll help you for going quicker with your procurement. Here is where we want to show you some of the things that Jeff was talking about. This is where you're going to find, this is the list of all the vendors that are on that list that we handed you, but it's in alpha order. So if you double click on the word vendor, it goes down. Where is my scroll? I can't find the scroll bar. Oh, there it is. All right. So you can see it goes all the way down, and you can get it in alpha order. If you want to look by area or by type of contract, the same thing applies. You can double click on it and it'll put it in alpha order based on the contracts themselves. See? So you can also come here and search. If you use this search bar, you must be very explicit about how you spell it because it's very touchy. So I'm going to try Blick Art Supplies. Fiddlestick. Hold on a minute. Well, thank you, Father. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. We're in the current vendors. Huh?
Questions. What you're into and it lists like all bunch of things. When you're trying to create this.
Created.
We can help you with that afterwards if you want.
Pavilions not up.
Okay, so it's sent me there with them.
Oh, that's something different. That has nothing to do with that.
So they're gonna sign me up.
They're
now.
almost like a competitor type thing.
Oh.
Just totally get out of that.
Okay, so this is what we call
Choice partner.
landing pages. Every vendor that is awarded on that contract list is here. So you can see the amount of information that's here. Great for purchasing. You have the category, you have the contract number, and we'll say this, if you ever work with one of our vendors, please ensure that if you ask for a quote, they have their contract number on there. If they don't, just give it back to them and say, I'd like you to add the contract number because that's compliant on our part. Then when we prepare the PO, if we're ever audited and it's on there, then we're covered because we did legal procurement. So over here on the left side, we include the name of our own contract manager. That's so if you have questions about this vendor or the contract itself, before you engage with them or even after, you have someone that you go to right there. Name, email, and phone number. Over here, we give you the website and also where their coverage is covered by the contract. So where Jeff was saying to the gentleman down in Brownsville, okay, if you only say I only want to cover region 1, that would be put right there instead of the word national. It would say region 1. So y'all up here in Houston would say, oh, so sorry, I can't shop with y'all because you're not covered. We want everybody to stay compliant, the vendor and the members, so you're covered. So that's a good way. And sorry, I'm going fast, but I just know we have to get Stephen's information here as well. The other thing we want you to do in our co-op, it's important for us, Jeff showed you the triangle in the beginning. We're very much a supporter of the vendor as well as the member. So we want you to have, I'm out. Oh, okay, I thought they needed that to listen. Thank you, sir. This over here is the actual contact information from the vendor themselves. You can go directly to them. You do not have to call us for permission to use them. If you use them, we ask that you report the PO, and that's through the rebate portal, which gives you money back, and I'll get to that in a minute. But this is extremely important. We're very transparent so that you can talk to us or to them. And this is where you see the due diligence Jeff was talking about, right there. And when you click on that, for the sake of time, I won't do it, but it opens up a listing of everything. We have the advertisement, the bid tab, the eval form. Marisol, is there a question?
No.
No, I thought if I missed something, tell me. We want to answer questions. So this is what we, and then about the vendor, and every one of our vendors will have a page just like this. So you have the contract number, how to shop with them, and to get those kind of answers. Any questions about what you can access from there? We want you to have that relationship.
When you use a vendor from there and you're not happy or satisfied, like Dr. Miranda, is there a place right there
Like
to?
me. I'm never happy, so you can't listen to me.
Is there a place to
I'll be looking for
report
your
that?
emails. No, ma'am, what you would do, there is a place to ask for information, but if you have sent out a PO and they completed their product and you paid them, but you're not satisfied, definitely go to the landing page. Attached there is or you'll see it there, the email for the contract manager. Go directly to that contract manager. They know how to raise it up the flag and take it to the top, and Jeff and management will look at it. We need that feedback, but oftentimes it's not. We get the good kind of feedback, which is good, but we have to know both to be able to keep a good thing. If you're in the middle of a project or a purchase and something goes sideways, it doesn't mean it's the end of the end. But we can come in, and that's what we talk about choice as being your ombudsman. We're that middle person that can come in, and it could just be a technology issue. It could be a change of personnel staff, either on your side or the vendor side, that maybe something did fall through the cracks, but we're there to help. We're not going to force it on you, but it could be exactly what you want. It just didn't come the way you expected. So please give us that feedback. Now, here's something that
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Do the vendors pay a certain amount for contracts that are awarded to them to
Ma'am.
your co-op, or no?
A vendor cannot pay to be awarded. That's what makes us different. And if you look at our list, we actually use the word awarded.
That's what they give you an order too.
I'm asking because I've seen invoices where the co-op is charging us an amount that the vendor is saying bum for the co-op, and I'm just asking so that when we do those budgeting, we think about that money. That's I mean.
Okay, what we say is on the quote, it is not legal or right for any of our vendors to put a line on there that expenses their administration fee to us, correct?
Yeah, so you should never receive a quote with their cooperative fee on it.
No, ma'am.
And I'm saying that as part of choice, but I work with other co-ops and I don't know of a single co-op that allows that. So if you're accepting that quote with that on there, you're likely paying twice because it's supposed to be already included in their unit pricing.
And if you do see it, that's when you call before you accept it and you say contract compliance specialist, or you send it to the contract manager that we showed you on the landing page.
Okay, because I saw it in one of my somewhere, and I was like, I'm glad I'm learning.
No, it's good that you noticed.
Anytime you see that, you can send it to us and we'll get with the vendor to fix it, or kick it back to them and tell them they're not allowed to charge you for that.
And we do have new vendors, and maybe their estimator didn't learn quite right. But like I said, it could be the exact place you want to work. But if they didn't get the estimate correct, allow us to intervene and help them learn and help you get the best deal. All righty, but you're correct that it should not be on there. Anybody else have questions? Because that's important. You want to make sure that you're getting what you're paying for, but not more than what you need to pay for. This button right here is so awesome. Jeff even used to label it the fun button, but it's get a quote. The quote, it can only be through choice partner vendors. However, it makes it so succinct. You don't have to run an ad, pay the time and wait for the responses. You go in here and you pick the title. So with that list that we gave you there, the awarded contract list, this listing is exactly the same. So we're just mirroring it here electronically. So if I put in here, I can either go to the alphabet here, that R, or I can just type it in here and
Is
say
that a new
roofing.
feature?
No, sir, it's been around for quite a while. I can't tell y'all exactly when, but I've been with the co-op 10 years and I believe it's been there at least 8, if not more. But
Very glad we having this session.
yes, sir, y'all call it anytime. I have trouble spelling today, sorry. So here, see, I put in roofing. So what the system does is it brings up the roofing. And so I'm going to click on that and then watch what it does. It just makes it so easy. So you were saying if you don't have that list, here it is right here. So these are all the vendors, and y'all, just like the lady in Brownsville had said, the vendors we have down here might not be the vendors Amarillo wants to use, or El Paso might need somebody that Beaumont that want to use. So we award several roofing vendors, but you might not want to select all of them. You can, using this button here, select all, or you can unselect and just say, I'm going to pick 2 or 3. So we'll pick this one and this one. And then when you come down here, you say, as a choice partner member, which tells the estimator. The reason I suggest that, they'll get the email that comes from choice partners, but estimators don't always get, like she was saying, the trickle down to everybody. As a choice partner member, please provide a quote for, and this is where you put it in. If you needed to get a refrigerator for your facility's break room, you say a side-by-side, you know.
Does it accept an attachment?
Yes, I was gonna get to that. You can describe it here, or if you've been looking for a while for that refrigerator, you say, please provide a quote based on the choice partner contract according to the attachment. And then you run down here. This is a great, look at that. 1, 2, 3, you pop it in. Now it does have a limit of 10 megabytes. Where does it go? I think it's not humongous. You can't put in an encyclopedia. But you could probably put in, like, if you were looking for something that had specifications, you know, it used to be on there.
It is on there.
10 megabytes. I thought, okay, I had the gizmo on it. So that's where you know what to upload. And what if you were trying to replace some furniture and what you call mahogany or rosewood, somebody ends up buying you something in pine? We know that's not the same, right? But you put a picture in there and you say, I want it to match this color and I want it in this style. Don't give me colonial when I have French provincial or have modern and you give me something from the sticks. So it's an excellent thing to
There's a
go.
lot of that in the food services, a refrigerator, stove,
Right.
warming tray, right hand, left hand.
That's what I was gonna say. You want to know which way for it to open and go.
People
Let me show you.
Did they come?
This is real important down here. Or does that mean she's gonna buy a refrigerator today? I like it. I figure that.
We just talk about it after.
I like it. Just tell me when it's full. I'm hungry for lunch. I'll come. Look here, y'all. This is when you put on here, when you want this in-house. The deal is every one of our vendors in their contract agrees to respond to this request within 48 hours. So let's start with number 1. If you pick 3 vendors and only 2 respond and 1 doesn't, don't contact the one that didn't. Call us at that 800 number, it's 877, and let us know, say, I put in a quote request and I didn't get a response. What happens when you hit submit? 3 things. You get a copy, we get a copy, and each vendor that you requested gets a copy. They don't know about it, each other getting a copy, but they know that people shop around, right? But we'll have that list and you'll say, A and B replied, but C didn't. And then we'll contact C and say, what up? Did you not check your emails or did you change your staff? Whatever, we'll be that ombudsman and help you out. But this here tells them when you want that product or service in-house. Every estimator can give you a best estimate with that information, because I could have your refrigerator, but remember when the embargo was going on or when COVID hit, they were all sitting on the ships and they couldn't get off and come in through the California port. They all came from the different countries, but they weren't there. So as a vendor, I would say to you, I have exactly what you want. Please, do you have any time? I can get it in 6 weeks, but you asked for it in 3. So you start dialoguing, but at least you got an answer and yet someone you trust, you're working with. If you put it in here, I want it in 2 weeks, and somebody goes, I'll be there in 1, and you're going, all right, you got the job, you know? It's an idea. It starts your dialoguing quickly. It gives you a response, and you can start saying, even if you get 1 or 2 or 3 quotes, we do say this, and I've heard Stephen say it several times. Our vendors can get frustrated if y'all just do a bunch of quotes and then never buy. I get you have to shop sometimes, but be in earnest when you use it. It's a tool there for you. Anyone in here in construction? Nadamas, we'll talk to you later about that. How it can be, how you can use it, okay? Because you can use it as a call for a pre-quote meeting, and you don't have to pay the advertisement, and only deal with pre-approved vendors, okay? It's an excellent tool for that. But I'm just for sake of time, I know Jeff
Quick
likes
question.
it
How hard is for you to make any changes on this template?
a lot, very hard.
Okay.
What kind of?
But we'll listen, but we can't do that.
I encounter a problem, especially in my former school, is that when they transport pallets or big items, if you're not super specific on how you want the delivery, I have problems where the trucker will come in the front and just leave it in the parking lot because the quote didn't specify that they need to bring it inside. So they didn't have the bed, you know, like the inside delivery.
So all this does is notify them to contact you.
Uh-huh.
So once they contact you, you can specify all.
Okay.
Hammer out the
just
details.
wondering if I can
Yeah.
go with that.
You're not
Because-
actually placing an order through
Oh,
this.
yeah, no, I know. It's just that sometimes if you can tell them on front what you want, there's some vendors are gonna tell
I
you,
was saying that, Barb.
I was just
I
gonna
don't
say,
have that capability, for example. Or
Right
it's gonna
down here.
cost you a lot of money because I don't have my transportation. I need to, like outsource it or whatever.
Know that up front.
or I don't have a loading dock, or,
It just, I mean, not need to happen now, but maybe next year. I don't know.
but see, you might not have a forklift and you have a loading dock, or you have a.
And we don't have a loading
Everything you
dock.
could put that right here if you wanted to, because then they could talk to you more in detail and towards your project. But as he said, it's nothing in writing that holds you, so this would still be the best spot for you to do that.
Inside delivery required or something right there in that
Yeah.
field that you've got highlighted.
Yeah, that's
As
fine.
a vendor, because I used to be a vendor awarded by choice, and the more information you can get, the better and more succinct your quote will come back to you. So you're not like running in circles afterwards going, oh, and what about, and what about? It just helps.
Yeah.
So any other questions we can get to quickly? Because that's such a big help there. So let's buzz over here, go down here. This is the rebate portal. I do want to spend a moment on it. Will y'all participate in the rebate? Did y'all, I don't have the list of if you did this past year or not, but this is how easy it is.
I'm new, so I'm not sure.
Oh, okay. So you can download the template here, and when you do, see where, just click right there. It opens up an Excel format, and there's just like 5 pieces of information we need. The vendor invoice, the date, the amount, the name of the vendor. We usually want them uploaded after it's been paid, but you have until about a month after our fiscal year ends to still get everything from the year end. We understand it takes a little bit, but then we do the calculations and then the checks.
It's one per vendor, or do you include everything there?
You include everything here. Let me
Okay.
open this. Fiddlesticks. Oh, ta-da, here it is. Yep.
Technically, they can do it either way. You can do a bulk upload, or you can.
Now, this just gives you, this just shows you what we did. So it just shows vendor invoice here and the vendor name, contract
So how
number.
do you
field it.
qualify for the rebate
If you put it in,
You have to
that's,
report it.
on your system?
Y'all have to report it on our system for you to qualify.
Okay,
If you don't report it, it doesn't qualify.
so it's just a reporting thing.
Right.
Gonna
And
help
it
you with
can-
the data.
you
Okay.
can do it monthly, or you can do it as it goes, and that's why we allowed you to do it manually, like here. Or you could do a bulk upload, like at the end of the month, everything that you pay to us.
Extract the spreadsheet.
And the only thing that you need is the PO and the contract number for the vendor.
No, and the invoice and date. That's what I was showing you on that. Excel.
Invoice number and all that, okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to show you here, under this word members, if you come down here to the rebate program and click on that, it takes you to a page that gives you a whole lot of information because we're going quickly, it'll answer some questions and where you can report, but I want to direct you to this right here. This is some updated information right here, because we just finished our first full year of collecting it and putting out the rebate itself. So we learned some things that makes it easier. So that's another go-to. And if not, always remember when you go here under contact us, this is probably your best number to go to for answers and questions, including those from Puerto Rico. So I just wanted to know she's included right here, 877-696-2122. Here in Houston, y'all can just do 713-696. But we want to be sure that pardon?
It rings to Brandon.
Oh, it does? Okay.
Free. It used to ring to Jane, but it'll ring to Brandon.
And then she'll be able to disseminate, but we want you to know we're available for that sort of thing. So let's do that here. And here we'll go back to the dashboard. Come on, darling. And then the other thing was just those in food. And I know there's some food people here. So you have your own button, and what we did with our food, and you saw the 4 people that run that, we gave them their own mini website within our website. So you can get your nutrition labels. There's some pricing that's already out there and available. If you're going to do commodity processing, that requires you filling out an application, telling them how much in advance. That pricing might not be right there. And that's when you come over here and you talk to Trisha Prestigiacomo, and she'll be able to help you with that. But you can see they have a lot of the information here. And Trisha is very, very quick to respond, very close with the people that uses her contract.
Work on the district side, so it's side there, it's been with us off and on twice for 15 years, 20 years. I mean, she
Off and on, yeah.
knows everybody in business, she knows our business very well, and does a very, very good job.
Yes, and this lady right here, Monica Niles, and I are going to go to the National Child Nutrition Conference in April. So it's like we're always trying to stay on top of what is important and new and helping you out. So there's just 1 or 2 other things. Let me show you what Stephen was talking about. These are current RFPs. So you see where I went up there to bidders, and then you have current RFPs. Look how many we have out there. So ma'am, if you're from Brownsville and you were saying, where do I go to tell people? This is where you can show them. This is what's out there right now. And again, if you have any questions, the 877 number is available. Then I wanted to come over here and show you. We have FAQs and we have current news. I think it was you said you had not heard of our newsletter that comes out monthly. You can get it right here. See where it says Leader's Choice? And when you hit it and download and you view it here, it's like 4 pages altogether. It's great news. Anybody can do that once you have a login ID. All right. And then the last one is just, I wanted to be sure. I mean, y'all can look at all of this when we have a little more time, but I wanted to be sure you knew about the contact us. This is very important because when we leave here, you'll be like, I'm a calf looking at a new red gate. Y'all gave me too much info. I forget who you are. So you just come over here, click on our name, it's an email, our phone number is here, and we're always all available, ready to help you at any time. That was the quick version. Y'all have any questions before Stephen steps up?
I have a question.
Yeah,
Maybe it's for Marisol. So Marisol, we get a quote in YouTube, we get a quote from Choice Partners. And then we put that order in K-12 or? No, so now we're just using the Choice.
Get from the vendor.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't give you the quote. The PO does not come to us. The quote doesn't go through it. Everything is you and the vendor. We're just here to administer the contract.
Okay, once I get the quote and I'm ready to place my order, what's next?
You do a purchase requisition through a sender.
Are you gonna ask me also for the budget number?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just make sure when you get that quote that the vendor contract number is on there. And then when you do the PO requisition, the contract number is on there. And then when they issue the PO, they'll make sure it's on there. Because then if you're ever audited, you'll smell good to Jesus. Right?
And to get the rewards for the money.
Oh, the rebate.
We take care of that.
Okay,
That would be
good.
just on their side.
Did you say put the co-op number?
Where did that money go?
Contract.
Contract number of the vendor.
Not the problem.
We don't have, our co-op doesn't have a number. the contract number to the awarded vendor.
Correct. That needs to be on our quotes.
Yes, ma'am, but you don't put it on there, the vendor puts it on there
It's
when they
there.
provide you the quote.
Okay.
That's where it starts, but you'll know you shopped and they have it and they've been awarded.
Thank you.
Oh, any other things?
Okay. All the consultant questions, everything.
I have a
That
question.
is the list.
Because he's telling me he's gonna take the rebate money. So I need to know,
Okay.
when we get the rebate money, because we will, right? Does it go to the schools that earned it?
No, ma'am. That's the internal decision.
It goes to one location.
Did you hear that? I'm
Yeah.
trying to- there's-
No, we're
Okay.
That's one of, that's one of the things.
We fight later.
Oh, you're up there. Very good question.
Yes, I wanted to go to the people that spent it, right? So
Every school asks that.
Every school needs money.
Everybody has the same question. Everybody has.
Maybe
the
nine.
same-
Response from the business office is always the same.
Oh, okay, this is a lot. He's very good
It is
at
always
sorting
the same.
things out.
we just need to release the money.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we heard it,
Yes,
ladies.
all the time to release the money, yeah.
And gentlemen back there.
But also, our said the response is always the same.
Okay, Edna's got the answers. What we're gonna do is, just real quick before Edna starts. Stephen is it's a star, it's a great presentation, but there's no time. We'd rather actually give Edna a few more minutes. Let her talk and then we'll have questions at the end here. And then another time we'll do like facility maintenance, construction. And we'd love that, I'm telling you, you'll learn a ton with Stephen, but we can't do it justice and we're gonna let Edna, maybe even take a few more minutes, whatever, just to cover a lot of the things that she wanted. So,
Thank you, Jeff. Good morning, everyone, or afternoon. So you heard that Choice Partners is a division of Harris County Department of Education. Choice Partners has large vendors, Amazon, CDW, throughout the nation. They will serve the Harris County area, Brownsville, and from Florida to California. Internally, the Harris County Department of Education has a procurement office, and we focus on small businesses. I heard a few of you talk about the consultants who provide probably professional development, advisors, coaching, counselors. That is the area where we help Choice Partners fill the gap on what you need. So internally, we work with the small individual consultants. And we actually go out for RFP more frequently. So as I mentioned earlier, on tomorrow, there will be an opportunity for your consultants to submit a proposal to an RFP. And that one, we are planning to take it to our board for award in May. So after that, you will be able to contract with those consultants. And then we'll go out again and take it to our board in August. Yes.
So 3 of our consultants, Cecilia and Tab, Ben, they did apply. They applied the last RFP. And so, but I don't know if they heard back. So we need to reach out to them to make sure that they have a contract number, correct?
If they were awarded,
If they were,
yeah.
Okay.
So they're competing with other
So we didn't.
people.
So who would tell them? Who would tell our contractors that they can apply?
that they can apply.
We told them, I'm so sorry, we actually pushed it to all of them. Because they had one open in last
Yes.
August, September.
Yes.
And I think you were the one that was working with. And they did, but I don't know if they got awarded. Nobody's like. I
They
don't
should know because they receive a notification.
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly. Once after the board awards, we then go into the system, and for those of you online, it's the website, hcdeebid.ionwave.net. So that's where the vendors will register. And as Stephen mentioned earlier, once they select the commodity, it's a consultant, if they're a consultant, when an opportunity becomes available for them, they will receive an email notification. They then will submit a proposal or a response to the RFP opportunity. They will be evaluated. The board will award them. They then will receive notifications through the e-bid system that they were awarded. They will also receive notification if they were not awarded. Okay? So I want to just take a few minutes because we've got a plan from now until the end of the fiscal year to try and capture the small individual consultants. We're really, really focusing on helping small businesses work through this process. So as said, in May, we're taking the one that will open tomorrow to our board, and that May 17th, I believe is the board award day. So vendors will be notified shortly thereafter if they were awarded. Also in May, we are hosting a virtual how to do business with HCDE. So if any of you know small businesses, consultants that are interested in walking through the process, understanding how to register, whatever support they will need, please, please, please send me their contact information. I can be reached edna.johnson@hcde-texas.org. Send me their email information. I will make sure they get an invitation.
May when? Is it before your board meeting?
It is, I've got to get that date. I think it is May 16th.
But your board meeting's May 17th.
Right,
So they're gonna miss that opportunity.
They will miss that opportunity, but again, we have a plan.
Sure.
So that's in May. We then will have another opportunity that will go to the board in August.
That's too late for us. Mhm.
So we have a rolling. So we have one that opens tomorrow, one that will open shortly thereafter the board, and then we have one that will go to our board in December. And when I say go to the board, I think Jeff mentioned it earlier. Think back probably 60 to 90 days when the opportunity opens. So it's the opportunity, like tomorrow when opportunity will open, and then we're going to take it to the May board. After that one, and if you have somebody that you know that will need right away,
Check it with them. Yeah.
ask them to register.
Well, we think they've already registered. Okay.
Okay.
So once they go to the board, then it gets awarded.
Yes.
Got it.
And after it's awarded, that means that you then can contract directly with them. And then we, as Choice Partners mentioned, we make sure we go through all of the steps to make sure that the due diligence is available. So they complete the federal requirements, the state requirements, and in some cases, our local requirements. Okay? So again, that's really what I wanted to talk to you guys about, the consultants. We're really intentional about capturing those small businesses. In many cases, it's just one or two people providing the services you need. But that is our focus. That differentiates procurement internally from Choice Partners. Any questions about the RFP?
You have a list of type of services that the consultants can provide.
Actually, great question. We focus on general. So we have, if it's curriculum, if it's business services, so they then will tell us which area will they specialize in.
And that's the thing. Do you have those areas? What they mark? Do you have a list for that? Like it includes, for example, academics, special ed, technology. Sometimes we need help with, like other type of consultancy, like finance or business, or like all sorts. So you have a list of what are some of those, so we can think about people that have been serving us, but that because we're trying to do it this way to avoid, like once it passed the $50,000, or that we are in compliance with all the regulation, our audit is, smooth and all that.
Now that is a great idea, and I want to emphasize something. We've recognized that there's a need. So this is something that it's HCDE plus. So we're just developing the program. We've been working on it less than a year. So that's a great idea. Once we establish the vendors, maybe we then can mirror what Choice is doing by category. But right now, we're trying to capture them under a general RFP, but I love that idea.
If I have people that I know that might be able to provide services to the schools or non-school, can I send it to you so you can invite them, or?
Yes, you can, but it's better that they register in the system. Of course, I'm here to support you. Absolutely. You can email me their contact information, but it's better that they register to the system. I'll tell you, if you email me, then I will email them the link.
Yeah, well, send me the link.
Okay.
I didn't have chance to.
Yes,
It's there,
yes.
right? Okay.
Absolutely,
Is there an Inga Ash on your team?
absolutely she is.
So award letters have not been released, and one of our people has been emailing her for a few weeks.
And the person is not.
One of our consultants who went through the process.
Okay,
So,
It could have been unsubmitted is what I'm thinking, because I think it's fairly automatic.
it is. Once they're awarded after the board meeting.
They could have thought they submitted it because we've had a lot of vendors, or
We
they
did.
were 5 seconds late and it got cut off. by
so
the
he applied
Okay.
and he had the proof, and Jesus told him to do something, I don't know, in January. And he did it, and so, and he's still waiting.
Will you please email me that information and allow me to research it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, please.
I know what's your last name?
Johnson.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All of our cards are right over here also. I was just bringing Edna here.
Any other questions? Looks like there's something online. I don't know if this is for me or not. Oh.
We check out the answers.
You're still gonna say no, right?
I'm a rules follower. I like to do the things the right
Might not
way.
give you an
I
answer.
appreciate you.
I'll give you an answer.
Very good. Any other questions? Someone just asked for the email. Very good. So going once, going twice. We are here to support you. Consultants RFP the opportunity opens tomorrow. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
I'll turn it over to Stephen.
All right, all right. Yeah, I get to say hi and bye. So we only scheduled this meeting 8 more minutes, so I'm gonna skip over the facility, construction, maintenance, job order contracting presentation. We can meet with y'all again for anyone that does want to hear it. Or you can reach out to me direct. What has happened here? Real quick, if I just see if I can jump on the PowerPoint. I don't think there's anything that we need to wrap up. Is there any questions? Okay.
So let's say I choose this vendor to fix an AC.
Mhm.
It's a hot topic.
Yeah,
And-
literally.
No fun.
So it's August, so they're coming, no AC, but you
Yep.
know, September, it's March, there's still issues with the AC. Who does quality control with these vendors that are not providing the service that we expect? Especially in the school, which is a local area, you got students, you can't tell them, well, there's no food today,
Right.
where they're hot, cold,
So,
dancing with like robots that make a lot of noise. And teacher
Right.
So I'm just wondering,
so the answer.
quality control?
So what we do is we do a review on them before renewal every time. So we look at certain aspects of their contract to make sure they're following it. But we also take in any complaints that we receive. So if you're having an issue with the vendor, we're never gonna know it unless it's communicated to us.
And I don't know if they have to.
Well, it's depending if they're in the co-op or not.
But, but,
If we didn't contract them through the co-op,
Yeah.
yeah.
And-
I'm going to assume that one, but it was.
Well, this was, I think the whole project, the big project was prior to that.
Well, whatever it is, if it's in here.
If it's
you
in
have a
here, we
system
can,
okay.
you need to just report it. So up here's a list of contacts. There's the contract managers. You just send them a communication. We put it in their file. And then when it comes time to renew, if we've had enough complaints, it's not just a one-off,
Exactly.
then we X them out. If they get debarred between their initial award and their renewal, they're out. We check all of that. Now, we do have a proactive review system. It's mostly just for our general contractors though. But anytime on the paperwork side, what applies to our contract, you can send it to us. We can get in the middle of it. But whether or not your project runs well is highly, highly dependent on whoever in your organization is running it. You know, did they get it engineered like they were supposed to? Did they do, make sure what they all spec'd out was installed? Did they do commissioning afterwards to make sure it all worked? Was test and balance performed? And that all falls on y'all. Choice Partners doesn't get into the actual project. But if you're trying to get those things done and they're not doing them, we can get involved. And we can threaten to suspend their contract or terminate their contract if they aren't gonna follow through with it. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I don't know enough about that situation though to guide you.
And I don't know the company or anything like that. I know.
Yeah. Is there any other questions? We have 4 minutes.
Well, my questions are related to services,
Okay,
specific services. One is HVAC repair and things like that.
Yeah.
Not for the units that we contracted, that is a big project that is in warranty and they're gonna need to do what they need to do to fix it.
sure.
That's different. We're still fighting with them. But I'm talking about the older buildings that are all units that need just repair, maintenance,
Mhm.
et cetera, et cetera. Do you have people in the co-op that do those kind of jobs?
Yes. So we have what we call a job.
Okay,
If you're on our website, it'll say construction job. That's the general contractors.
and they do all those.
Well, they will, but then we also have trade jobs.
That's what I'm
So it'll
talking
say
about.
like,
Plumber, HVAC,
and it will,
electricians.
so if they can do that service, it'll say what that trade is and they'll have the word job after it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So electrician, and you're gonna have a list of job electricians there,
Mhm,
and all are vetted through Choice Partners already.
mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, so if I just show you kind of what it looks like, construction hyphen JO.
Simon, that's good
So
for
these,
us.
yeah, so these are all the general contractors. Okay, if I take that search criteria out and I just type in JOC, you'll see like this says athletic surfaces job. So they can do construction only as it's related to athletic surfaces, nothing else.
Simon, the gym that we just lost the flooring.
Yes,
We have a lot of flooring
yes,
contractors.
they can do that.
We just got a flood on
Yeah.
the gym, they need to be replaced.
These ones that say HVAC,
Uh-huh,
or HVAC equipment and services, all of them that have the job, they can sell you the equipment and they can also do the install.
okay.
Mechanical contracting, which includes electrical, plumbing. So this is MEP. This means they can
How do
do,
we filter these for a local contractor? Because this is the other thing that happens sometimes, that, you know, like you have things like I saw Texas there, right? And then you go and call them and there's somebody coming from Austin and then you need to pay those extra, you know, whatever.
well, do you see right here where it says Texas Region 4?
Uh-huh,
So you're in Region 4.
So
Any
I'm
of
gonna
those
pick
are
from Region
local.
4. Okay.
Those are local.
Okay, that's where I'm,
Some of the Texas ones are also local, but not all of them, but every one of these should be.
how are you checking pricing? Are they, I mean, do you have part of it? Like, when I pick a vendor, one of these vendors for some of these services, normally we ask for 3 quotes so we can compare, but do you have some sort of in your process to, you know, like make sure that they're not ripping out the organization?
So here's what I'm gonna tell you.
Okay.
We have the pricing that they bid, and you can send it to us and we can tell you if they followed the pricing they bid.
Okay, so
But
once I get the quote, I can give you, okay, this is,
yes,
okay.
yeah, and we'll review it as part of that contract review process. So we'll look to see if they use the correct coefficient, if they use RS means and agreed to the price book pricing. You know, did they localize it for not charging you for work in California? We check all of that. But they know how to manipulate the price book. The 3 quotes is where you determine if they're actually in line. Yeah, but we verify to make sure it aligns with the contract.
Okay.
And all of our contracts are not to exceed. So if you can negotiate a lower price, they can give you a lower price.
Okay.
They just can't go any higher.
Stephen has done, you had 10 people in your office the other day from a contractor.
Yes.
Basically teaching them there's something called a unit price book. I use price construction projects. And a lot of people think, oh, I'm just changing out a tiller. Well, that's construction, it's not maintenance.
Yeah.
And so he's had 50 people at Texas State. He's had 100 people at HIS. He's done 3 and 4 hour in-depth presentations and training. So that's why once it got down to the end and we had 15 or 20 minutes, it's a separate visit for him to come back.
What about
He's happy to
security?
do that.
What about?
Security contractors, no equipment, security companies. Do you have that through Choice Partner or no?
We have some of them, and then we also have a contract. It's either hit the street or it's about to hit the street, where you can send the people you want to work with to us and we can try to get them to respond.
Okay.
Yeah, there's one that's like fire, life, safety, and environmental, I think. No, environmental, something else. It's fire, life, and safety. And I believe it's on the street already.
I know some.
Mhm.
And plus the one that we didn't with already, I don't know if they're in the co-op, probably not. It would be
Sure.
good if they are.
And I'm gonna tell you,
We have a couple.
now, I'm gonna tell you from personal experience, it goes a long ways for you to tell them, this is where we want you to go. This is how we plan on procuring these services in the future. Because once they download the package that they have to respond to, you know, Jesus is very, very in depth. They'll see all that paperwork, get overwhelmed. They'll say, no, forget it. I'll just keep doing it the way I've been doing it. So if it's something you really need them to respond to, you might need to lean on them a little.
Okay. Sure. Thank you.
And this, yeah, like I said, this is another conversation, but Stephen's cards are here, mine. I'm not Kendrick, I'm Drury. Janet, any of us, we have all our cards here. Please take them, call us, whatever.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
just.
Well, I'm gonna
They don't
need
want
to
us to do the
probably
fast on.
another meeting with you and
Okay.
my facility director,
Correct.
because we're growing. And now we need to be very careful of what we use for,
Mhm.
you know, to all the buildings.
Mhm.
And right now, we just react to, you know, the things, right? Like,
Yeah.
okay, so find somebody to fix this, right?
I know.
Well, I have a list of 2 or 3, you know, if I call somebody, no, I'm not available, call the next, but they're all there available already. So I don't need to go to the whole process again.
Yeah, and if yeah, I mean, you can always call us and say, hey, this is what we need, you know, who has worked well for your other members.
Oh, that's
You know,
fantastic. I didn't know.
I can tell if I have the information, so our members tell us the good, the bad, the ugly about our vendors. So sometimes I have some insider knowledge where members have had a lot of problems with this one. Maybe I don't recommend them, but I've had a lot of people really satisfied with this one. I can shoot them your way. But yeah, you can call and I can help you narrow that list.
Perfect. We we can have a Zoom meeting. It doesn't need to be in person, but I need I need my guy here,
Mhm.
and Rich that is not here, because we're trying to, everything that we do, going through the call.
Gotcha.
And make sure that the vendors are vetted, that the
Yeah.
pricing is reasonable, that they have all the paperwork, that,
Yeah.
you know, and create a list for ourselves. You know, that we have 3 HVAC guys, 3 electricians, 3
Right.
plumbers. And, you know, when you have an emergency, okay, call the first, not available, call the second, and they're all vetted, they're all in the
Mhm.
co-op. There's not necessary to go to the 3 quotes again, you
Right,
know, like all that.
yeah. Who do y'all currently use for HVAC?
Train,
Train Direct or Hunt and Train?
Honda train.
Okay, so they're a good
Then
contractor.
depend what we use, when you call in, so they ask you what you need.
Right,
Gotta go for controls,
yes.
you know.
Yeah, they may go to Hunt Distribution if you just want the
Yes.
part, Hunt and Train. Okay, yeah, we have them on contract. We don't have distribution. Theirs fell off and they didn't respond to the new one. But they responded to the one that is supposed to go to our board. What are we in? I want to say April or May. So distribution will come back, but we do have Hunt Train, Hunt Mechanical, on there now. And actually, we get a lot of good positive feedback about Hunt. Letsos is another one we get a lot of good feedback on, if you're familiar with Letsos Mechanical. So we have a few.
What about plumbing?
Plumbing, we're weak on plumbing. It'd be better for you to send us some. A lot of these mechanical contractors do plumbing as well. They kind of do mechanical, electrical plumbing.
Well,
Flooring,
we talked about flooring already.
yeah, we already hit flooring.
Actually, athletic flooring, specific for gym. He just showed us.
Yes, but we have regular flooring too. Yeah, like this carpet or VCT tile or,
That's what we're gonna do.
we have both athletic surface flooring and regular flooring. Yeah, we have both.
Our gym under her school flooded. And we remove all the things, we just put the claim with the insurance, and now we need to find a vendor to go and replace it.
Gotcha. Okay.
And the front, all our front office,
It's also flooded.
yes, so all that flooring, was pulled up, so
Good.
we'd rather just go with cement for the front office. So we need
Like
some,
stain it or polish it?
Like-
Polish it.
Okay,
It's better.
okay.
I mean, I think they're gonna have to put something in because it's not,
Level.
Yeah, they label, they put like a film of material and then they
I
polish
see
it.
some that look really nice and professional, we just want it to look nice and professional. And then be resistant to the next flooding. 'Cause that's what's right.
Now you're asking too much.
Yeah.
We all know you can flood everywhere.
That is true.
I'm born and raised, I mean, it floods everywhere.
All right, I think we're good. People online, we will, I know there are some questions about the video. Once this is done and I get the link, our people edit it. It could take up to a week. It typically doesn't take that long, but we will get it to you. Well, actually, our contact that set up the meeting, we'll send them a copy of the PowerPoint and the recording, and then they can distribute it to everybody. Marisol. All right, thanks.
Because they say it has to be a PO, but it doesn't say.
It's because the amount, I